There's that. I'm tickled Princess Meghan is taking her power back via her Tuesday podcast. All the foolish, childish, unfounded, and hypocritical double standard criticism against her has been put to rest. The royal media cannot rewrite her history to their evil wish, and they're mad. Alright, so those pictures, that's nice. Okay, the UK media repeatedly claim Meghan Markle is rewriting history and her podcast. Okay, it is total and utter projection. Meghan is a sweet, giving soul, and the UK pirate with press passes work hard to destroy her reputation and her image. Now Meghan has taken back the narrative. Okay, and her dream. Okay, there's a hater here. Whose dream? Okay, she's telling her truth. I'm sure you listen to her podcast for you to be here. Right, definitely won't be rewriting her lying and the bullying. Well, the main thing that needs to be done, I've spoke about the result of that bullying investigation. Her lawyers should have a copy that with the stamp of the palace and the same copy, okay, the firm has, where Meghan signed it, and both, to have the identical same thing. So when they decided, because I'm pretty sure they're holding it for a special occasion when they decided to rewrite history again, okay? Well, when Meghan is no longer there to speak her truth, for them to put it out. So she has someone who has a copy of it to put it out there. Because these people, they like to inflict pains onto people and say they're BS. For what? I don't know why they're even doing this nonsense. So many times, hours could be spent on so many other things, but this is the BS that they want to put. But people needs to keep on telling the truth. All right.
Royal household about someone who was, at the time at least, a very senior member of the royal family. Meghan was married to the sixth in line to the throne. And
we're all happy that we are in a new era.
Okay.
We get to tell the truth. Things are different now.
And, this is very serious indeed. But
say I don't speak for them. I speak for myself.
One other thing that I've learned is that whilst this bullying claim was submitted,
I'm so thankful that they are finally acknowledging the experience. But on the other side, I know that the family and the staff were well aware of the extent of it. And though their recollections may vary, ours don't, because we lived through it with them.
By their then chief communications officer, the head of comms at Kensington.
While they were braced for something explosive, they totally underestimated just how far Harry and Meghan would go. And I think they took everyone by surprise.
I don't know who knew. I know that the family and the staff knew.
Alice, the staff involved didn't know that had been submitted, and when they found out, they asked for it to be rescinded. So we've got quite a difficult story here about a bullying complaint, and yet the staff involved, it appears, or so I'm told, didn't even know.
I have known her for 17 years, and I have seen the way that she regards the people around her and the people she works with, and I can say she's not a bully.
I'll give you an example. I was working till 4:30 in the morning on a Friday night, and my husband was traveling for business, and on Saturday morning at 7:30, right about 20 minutes after the kids woke up, my front door bell rings, and it's Meghan with scones and Starbucks. And we turned on cartoons, and the girls were like, what is this amazing thing called a scone? And we let them eat them in bed and get crumbs everywhere. And it was just exactly what I needed, off in Toronto, and really, really delirious morning to have my friend show up.
But I can also say that I am personally glad that people are doing their due diligence, because I also know why someone had to leave, and it was for gross misconduct.
Prince Charles expected his butler to keep visits to Camilla a secret from the princess.
Paul just turned around to him and said, well, are you expecting me to lie for you, Your Royal Highness? And Prince Charles said, well, yes. Yes, I am.
I just had to put, is it September 12th?
13th, sir.
Oh, God, I'm the wrong date.
And went into this histrionics about being the King of England, the future King of England, the Prince of Wales, and you will lie, stamping his feet, and then through this book in Paul's direction.
13.
Yes, sir.
You saw 12:30.
We know it was something 10. Oh, God, I hate this.
Oh, look, it's going everywhere. Hang on.
And Prince Charles is one of the most demanding.
Charles likes, it was a particular dish he likes to eat when he goes out hunting, which is softly boiled eggs and Scotch whisky, waiting for him when he comes back. But of course they never know when he's coming back. So a good half an hour before he's due back, they start boiling up a batch of 20 eggs for 3 minutes exactly. And then if he hasn't arrived in those 3 minutes, they throw them away. Then they start another.
Has anybody got a job? No, look, it's serving.
This bloody thing. What do they do? Everyone's stinking.
Staying at a friend's house. And Charles was trying to put his own collar studs in, which he doesn't normally do for his formal shirt. And he dropped one of the studs and it sort of bounced around the sink and went down the plug hole.
A young lady turned up, probably about 22, 23 years old, said she was here to see Prince Andrew. He just came in about half hour previous, so we knew he was in. But the footman wasn't answering his phone. There was no way of us contacting anyone up there, so we just politely said to the lady, we're really sorry, we can't let you in at the moment because we can't confirm you're expected. So she said, oh, shall I ring him on my mobile? So we said, yeah, fine.
Charles was in a fury, just ripped the sink from the wall, threw it to the floor, shattered it to 1,000 pieces, retrieved the stud.
So she rang Prince Andrew on her mobile, and we could hear him clearly. He said, put an officer on the phone. So my colleague took the phone and he said, listen to me, you fat lardy ass. Let my guest in immediately, I'm going to come down there. Everyone heard it. The lady went red, apologised, and we just let her in. So after that, obviously, those sort of issues we had with him, we would just let women in. Apologised, and we just let her in. So after that, obviously, those sort of issues we had with him, we would just let women in. We just let women in. Didn't ask questions because we just did not want the grief. I mean, complaints were made about him. We just let women in. Didn't ask questions because we just did not want the grief. I mean, complaints were made about him. You know, he was a rude, obnoxious, horrible individual, but, you know, he was a rude, obnoxious, horrible individual, but no one was going to take a complaint to the royal household because he's the Queen's favourite.
Ken had to put it in, and then when Ken had put it in, Charles grabbed him by the throat. Well, they said, you do understand, Ken, I just have to let this out. Well, Ken was so terrified, he sort of backed out of the room, but he didn't know the geography of the room, so he backed into a cupboard and stayed there for 10 minutes before letting himself out.
But I can also say that I am personally glad that people are doing their due diligence, because I also know why someone had to leave, and it was for gross misconduct.
So we just had to bend the rules for him and breach security. So we just had to bend the rules for him and breach security.
Do you think it was quite obvious that he was Queen's favourite?
Yeah, he was definitely the Queen's favourite. And probably the reason why he's in so much trouble now is because he was the Queen's favourite, because no one reeled him in.
Not only was I not being protected, but that they were willing to lie to protect other members of the family, but they weren't willing to tell the truth to protect me and my husband.
And he was left to get on with, to do whatever he wanted.
But that they were willing to lie to protect other members of the family.
You know, I'll give you another example. On the Queen's floor, there's cameras everywhere. And the camera operator noticed an individual on the Queen's private floor where her apartments are. And we couldn't identify who it was. She wasn't in at the time, but it's still a potential security alert. So four of us and four officers, including a sergeant, went down to that corridor. We entered from both ends so we could obviously meet this person in the middle. And as we got closer, we realised it was Prince Andrew. So my sergeant explained what had happened, apologised, said, look, we couldn't identify who it was on camera, so we've had to come and check it out. And instead of saying, oh, I said, no problem, he turned around and said, listen, this is my house, I'll go where I want, now f*** off.
Alice, the staff involved didn't know that had been submitted, and when they found out, they asked for it to be rescinded. So
you know, again, we're doing our job. There's no need to talk to police officers like that or anyone like that.
But they weren't willing to tell the truth to protect me and my husband.
But I can also say that I am personally glad that people are doing their due diligence, because I also know why someone had to leave, and it was for gross misconduct.
But that they were willing to lie to protect other members of the family, but they weren't willing to tell the truth to protect me and my husband.
What's been, as we know, is that the Mail on Sunday had the ruling against them in February, and they were then appealing it. So it was lawyers from the Mail on Sunday who would have approached Jason Naff, knowing that these emails and messages existed. That would have been the point, unless, I mean, the most likely outcome is that Jason obviously would have then gone to William and Kate, and clearly he has cooperated. He would not have cooperated with those lawyers without their definite knowledge.
So rewriting her line. Okay, she went to court, she won her case. Bullying investigation came. So how come they didn't put it out? Okay, the palace decided to make it secret. For all the noise that they were making before, the all points of view regarding bullying, but now that they have the answer, okay, the investigation, they have the answer. They're not saying a damn thing. So that should tell you something. All right, so take a time. Thank you. Take the time. Thank you. All right. Next tweet.